I moved to Lancaster from Valley Forge in May of 2010 as a lost puppy. At the age of 64, I'd been forced into retirement by the blue chip company that, a month earlier, told me I was a top performer. I knew the scenario all too well. After all, my job for 15 years had been to re-engineer our division by creating new ways to sell products through catalogs and over the phone, reducing the size of the high-cost direct sales workforce. I downsized my own life and moved to Willow Valley. Once all the flurry of relocation activities settled down, I faced the questions, what do I do now? How will I spend my days? What's my new purpose in life? My first priority was to find an Episcopal church. I was raised as an Episcopalian and attended church regularly through college. But then life got in the way. Relationships, marriage, miscarriages, job transfers, divorce. But I always kept the faith and felt that I practiced the faith. One year in the late 1980s, I worked in a soup kitchen, preparing and serving Thanksgiving meals to needy families in Northern California. It was an eye-opening experience that would permeate my subconscious for years. During that hiatus from attending church, I didn't think I was faithless. After all, I still believed in Jesus Christ. But I wasn't nurturing my faith. I wasn't getting the weekly biblical lessons about sacrifice and penitence, about giving of ourselves to those less fortunate. I had become one of those who still called herself a Christian, but only went to church at Easter. Shortly after moving to Willow Valley, I met Father Walter Moreau, who took me to St. James on a Saturday night in June. It was a poorly attended Mass in the chapel with no music. It didn't make the best first impression, but Father David welcomed me without judgment and made me feel so comfortable. I returned the next Sunday to see what the 10:15 service was like. It was so inspiring that I sat in the pew by myself and cried. I knew I was home once again. Within weeks, I was volunteering at the Anchorage Breakfast Program. It had taken me over 15 years to get back to helping the needy, but I had put one foot forward on living up to the promise I had made to myself when working, saying, I'll give back to the community when I retire. That September, I attended a forum where Ollie Jones, the principal at Carter and McRae, was promoting Ollie's Closet. She was also looking for a new volunteer coordinator to recruit individuals to help with kids in reading or math. Hungry to learn new things, I tackled the assignment and became a volunteer tutor myself. I not only learned about public school administration, but I learned about the love that a child brings and about the importance of doing more for those who have less. But most of all, within a year, I found my purpose in life. Before long, I began to realize that my work at Carter and McRae is a ministry. I was doing God's work and leading others to find it in themselves to do the same. I joined Mission and Justice and started making connections which taught me more about poverty and its vicious cycle. Before long, I realized that I wanted to be part of solving the problem. I joined the CAP Atlas initiative, spending 2 years helping a single mom make her way out of poverty and into a good full-time job with benefits. I made connections which led to a poverty education series at Willow Valley last fall that was attended by over 50 individuals, some from our own church. It was gratifying to know that I helped others understand why the problem exists and why we need to help. I joined the Altar Guild and feel so honored to be able to set the Lord's table. I feel even more connected to God in this easy task that only takes an hour each month. But when I became a Eucharistic visitor, I saw the face of God in others. For 1 hour a month, I was delivering not just communion to homebound parishioners, but seeing the spiritual joy in their eyes. I sensed the bond and fellowship we shared as we held hands, and I often heard the gratitude expressed by their caretakers. All this in return for my giving an hour a month. I also saw the face of God in some of the children I mentored. It was just a look, not something they said, but I realized there was pain in their memories. I did my best to give them strength and often said, "God loves you, and so do I." My commitment to Christ was strengthened the most when I joined 4 others from St. James on our first pilgrimage to the Holy Land in 2015. That trip brought me so much closer to our faith. Now when I read passages from the New Testament, they come to life so vividly because I was there. I live at Willow Valley, but I feel most at home at St. James. I eat dinner at Willow Valley, but get my spiritual nourishment at the corner of Duke and Orange. Each weekend service guides me through the next week as I continue to do God's work in my way.